Hey, what is up, my fellow golf ball addicts? Coming at you with another review today, and we finally have the Top Flite Gamer, which, as many of you know, ended up as one of my top golf balls of last year. Let's go ahead and dive into the full-length review. Guys, as always, if you love golf ball content from a guy who wants to change how you perceive them and how you see them, please join the community. We'd love to have you. You can like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We have a membership that just starts as $1. We also have really cool merchandise just like this t-shirt that you can buy if you want to support as well. So really appreciate you. Now, like I said, many of you know that I do love this golf ball. If you watch the top 10, the top 10 performance, either one of those golf balls, I think this was in the top 20 when it came to the actual top 100 list, but it's in the top 10 when it comes to performance list. And it's really a surprise because what they did was the Top Flite Gamer used to be a three-piece budget urethane kind of ball. I mean, it was like the cheapest of the cheap, and it had issues. It was a little too soft for me. They essentially brought it down to a two-piece, but they made it in the 70s compression, and I think that's going to make a big difference, and, well, it has, let's be honest. So let's just really dive into this, and I want to show you why it tested so high, why it got those numbers, kind of like we just did with the Lobby Pure. I know it's weird to do it that way, but there's some really good numbers here. So let's go ahead and dive in, of course, to the price point of this golf ball, which that's already a big factor of why I love it so much. You know, it says $17.99, as you can see there, but really no one's going to do that. I mean, anyone in their right mind is going to do the 2 for deal, which is 2 for $20. So for an extra $2, you get another dozen golf balls. Basically, that makes them $10 a piece, and $10 a piece for a dozen golf balls, as you guys know, is pretty much the best value you can get on the market. The Wilson Boost was that, and you know, the Boost tests so well. That's why a lot of you really love it. So this Top Flite Gamer is no different. I mean, you buy the, you're going to spend the extra $2. Of course you are. So that makes it a really good price point. Like I said, it is a two-piece golf ball. It is designed for more of a mid-swinger, mid to fast swinger, because being in the 70s compression, that's what it's going to be. It's not an ultra super soft. A lot of, two-piece golf balls like your Callaway Super Soft or, your Strixon Soft Feel or anything like that, those are going to be in the 40s, 50s, low 60s. This is kind of in the mid-70s, and so this is going to have a little bit more compression. It's not going to lose as much on the drive. So if you're a 90, 95 mile an hour swinger, I imagine it's going to work pretty well for you. All right, without further ado, let's dive into the design of this bad boy. Let's look at the front first. Now, I love what Top Flite did with their logo a couple years ago. I love how they combined the T and the F. It looks really cool. It's unique. Seeing the words Top Flite kind of brings it down just because, that's the reputation they have. And although it's gotten so much better, they're not the same as they were. They've completely rebranded. They've completely changed. Still seeing that is just, I don't know. I think they should take the Top Flite out and just put the logo, but that's just me. Coming around on the side here, this is the alignment tool, and I really like this a lot because although the line isn't thick, and I wish it was thicker on the side you actually line your golf ball up with, I love how they put the perpendicular line in there. That really helps a lot of golfers, especially golfers that are intermediate or new, and also golfers who just really haven't gotten confident with putting yet, which, let's be honest for a second, that's about 99% of you who watch this channel. Also, looking on the side, you'll notice that there is a really unique dimple pattern here. So you have your normal dimples like any golf ball would, but then if you look inside those dimples, they have a dimple in dimple pattern, which what does that do to help the golf ball? They claim it has to do with ball flight. I don't know. I mean, it's a good golf ball. We'll talk more about that later, but I don't know exactly how much this dimple pattern is going to help or whatever, but it is kind of unique. It looks cool. At least when you come up to your ball, it kind of like lets you know, oh, hey, that's my ball, because you'll recognize the dimple. So it's unique. It's different. It's trying to be out there. Does it actually help or not? I don't know. But it looks cool. All right, so without further ado, let's get out to the chipping and putting green, and let's see how it does greenside. Okay, not bad. Really springy. Like really springy. A lot of bouncy ball. Nice, okay. Boom, baby! That's how you do it right there. Worth every penny of that $10. Okay, it's a two-piece. I didn't expect a lot. All right, let's take a nasty cut. Yeah, I figured. Okay, so really springy. This thing is like 100% bouncy ball effect. It just is. I mean, there's a lot of spring. It does not take a lot to get it there. A couple of the hits were way past the hole because, again, you know, when I'm used to playing a more traditional ball, it's going to go about half the distance. I mean, now, as far as the feel goes, it is fun. It's really fun. It has a great feel to it. It's nice and soft. You really get that boing, and I mean, it's a really good fun ball to hit. All right, mallet putter first, thick and heavy. Let's see what we got. Whoa, goodbye. There it is. All right, okay, 1 out of 3 ain't bad. Still got to work on that. Maybe one day I'll get to 2 out of 3. Yeah, so with the mallet, you know, it is very springy, just like with the chipping, you know, with the wedge. It's hard distance control. And with two-piece golf balls like that, that's just sometimes how it is. You have a really thick, forgiving mallet putter, and then you have a golf ball that kind of has a bouncy ball effect to it. And so what do you think is going to happen? You know, it's like taking an aluminum bat and hitting a tennis ball with it. Bye, you know, and that's kind of how it is. So now we have the blade. I'm going to switch to that. Let's see what we got. Okay, slight click, get in there. Nice. A very slight click on this one. I mean, very, 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 very minimal compared to the other one, which was, you know, a boing and all that. Yeah. Feels good. Good roll on this too, a lot better roll. I would actually say maybe not a 10 out of 10 roll, but it's very, very close. Distance control a lot better. So if you do have a traditional blade style putter, I think you're gonna like this golf ball a lot better than you would if you have a really thick like Spider or something. Those have a lot of heat to them most of the time, or like a Jailbird that's a mallet. Those things are just gonna rock it off, and it's gonna be tough. On shorter putts, you're gonna have to really just barely come back. But with a traditional old style putter or blade or whatever, I actually really like it. I would say it's close to a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 with the blade, and then maybe like an 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 with the mallet. It's good, it passes, nothing wrong with it. Gosh, tempo, tempo, tempo. I don't know why I'm always rushing the tempo. I'll tell you what, come on now. Ah, fat. Okay, so one miss hit, one good hit, and then one great hit. I love the feel. I mean, a lot of bouncy ball effect. It rockets off the club. You really feel like it just boing, it's gone. It does have this slight firm press for a little bit of feedback. It's very minimal. If you're a feedback guy, you're not gonna like it, but I'll tell you what, a lot of young golfers who are just starting out or intermediate guys, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love how easy it is to get the ball up in the air, how easy it is just to get it to go far. All right, so let's start off with the 50-yard pitch. As always, we are looking at 7,049 RPM, which is a little below my average, but it's above the 7,000 mark. The 7,000 mark is where I wanna be. You know, that's the minimum requirement to kind of get in the door and get a pass, and it did that. And so what's really cool about that is even though this is a two-piece golf ball, on a 50-yard pitch, it is going to stop. I mean, wherever it lands, it's going to take a hop, it's going to stop right there. It doesn't have enough to pull back and rip back to you. I don't expect it to, especially with the cover, but it gets the job done. Getting into the 9-iron now, we have a smash factor of 1.35, which is pretty darn good. 143.6 on your distance, 144, which those numbers are good. They're not fantastic, but they are good. They're above average. 108.3 on your ball speed, which again, good, above average, love to see it. And the spin number at 6,821. So that's actually part of the reason why I lost just a little bit of distance. That's actually a high spin number. And then 22 launch. That's actually going to be kind of mid, just a little below the average of mid, so like low mid. So interesting there is that this golf ball gets it done with the distance. It goes above average with the ball speed. It does all that right, but it has above average spin as well. And so that's something I pound the table on with this channel all the time. If you're new here, this is your first review, a lot of people still firmly believe that two-piece golf balls just don't spin. You know, they don't hold a green, and that's just not true nowadays. The technology has advanced, and that shows it right there. So having 6,800 and some change, whatever, RPM, that's on the higher side of what I normally test. I mean, there's tour balls that haven't tested that high, and so the tour ball having a urethane cover might stick a little bit better, but having the higher RPM is also going to keep it on the green as well, so you're not going to have an issue with that. Moving into the 7-iron, we have a 1.43 smash factor. Again, above average, gets the job done. I love it. It's actually really good. 173.1 on your distance, which is phenomenal. 174.3, awesome. Love to see it. 122 on your ball speed, which is one of the highest I have tested. I love to see that. 5,716, which again is above average spin. So this golf ball is going to hold the green. And an 18.1 launch, which actually that's just a little higher than my average. So that's going to be more of a high launch. So again, I cannot reiterate, this golf ball is stopping on the green. I've played with it for the last couple months during the winter months, you know, to kind of, it's a softer compression from what I normally play. It gets a little cold in Florida, but not that cold, if you know what I mean. So this golf ball has been really good to me the last 2 months, and I can vouch for it. It stops on a green. There's no issue. I mean, if you're worried about checkup, it checks up. It's going to stay on the green, absolutely. So love to see that. The ball speed's just incredible. I mean, 122, and then to get that type of distance out of it, I love it. I love it. I really do. And that's from that compression being in the 70s. It's actually compressing a little bit better than some of these super softs. Once I get to the 7-iron and I test like the Callaway, it starts to just kind of feel dead and it feels like it's marshmallow, you know, and so I'm just over compressing it. So let's get into the 5 hybrid now. We have a 1.44 smash factor, 192.7 on your carry distance, which again is awesome, 195 on your total, awesome, 132.7, that is incredible ball speed. I mean, one of the highest I've ever tested, 5,115. Again, I just love to see it. I really do. That's some of the highest spin I've seen from the hybrid. 14.8, another really great mid-launch. So far what I'm seeing is I love the launch angles. I love the spin. I love the ball speed. There's just nothing to complain about so far. I mean, the only thing I could kind of make a complaint about would be the 9-iron distance, but considering it was spinning so much, I just can't. So right now we're on a really good track. Let's finish it off with the driver. Let's see how it did. 1.45 smash factor, which is really, really good. 230.3, which is awesome. 238.8. Both those numbers are, the 230 for the carry is good, but as far as the total rollout, it was just kind of average. So not fantastic there, but still above average. Love to see it. 145.3, that is going to be slightly above. That's actually good on ball speed. 2,784. It spun a little more than I would want it to on a driver. That's probably why it didn't have as much rollout. And it launched at 13.7, which is kind of a low mid launch for me. With that being the case, those numbers are the worst of the bunch, but worst of the bunch is still above average. So usually when it comes to driver and I start testing, you know, your soft field golf balls, usually that's where you see the biggest impact factor. Usually the ball will just, it's below average, it balloons, it spins too much, it's too high of a launch, because at that point the overcompression becomes very, very, very apparent. Not the case here. You know, not the case here. This actually, because it has that 70s compression, really traveled a long way, and it actually was able to keep its head above water with everything being above average. So that's fine. You know, when you play a golf ball like this, you go into it knowing that you're going to sacrifice some distance, and that's fine, but what you're getting in return is forgiveness, consistency, accuracy, things like that. And intermediate golfers, I promise you, you're going to want that way more than, oh, well, I lost 3 yards with my driver. Well, yeah, you did, but you also gained 10 yards. I also gained 8 yards with my 7-iron, so yeah, that's a pretty fair trade-off. All right, last but not least, let's dive into the durability, and then I'll give you my closing thoughts. Looking at this bad boy, you know, it is a little tiny bit scratched up after 80 shots. You know, you see some ridges there. You would need to probably throw it away. But here's the thing. I only see 2 or 3 ridges that make me want to throw it away. The rest of it looks pretty spot on. When you have a golf ball that is $10 a dozen, I don't expect much from the durability. I mean, if it could get me through a whole round, I'd be tickled pink. Well, this gets you through a whole round, so I'm ecstatic. So I would call that a 9 out of 10, close to an 8 out of 10, but I give it the 8.5 and bump it up just because of that price point. I mean, you got to consider that. This golf ball, I think most people who buy it at the $10 a dozen would expect, like, okay, you know, I'm going to lose 10 of them, so, and if that's the case, it's not going to matter anyway. Most guys who are making it through a whole round aren't going to be playing this golf ball regardless, so I would say it's pretty good. I'd say a 9 out of 10 I'm pretty comfortable with. So final thoughts, guys, that is why this golf ball was so good. Were the numbers record-breaking? No, but it's kind of like the Seed SD05, or SD15, excuse me, the Country Mile. You don't always need record-breaking numbers. Sometimes you just need a really solid, consistent, above-average performing golf ball across the board. That's kind of what this does, but the only difference is, 1, the price point's insane. 2, I love the design. I love the rebrand. I love what they've done. You know, they tried to make it unique with the dimple pattern. They've made this alignment tool on the side with the perpendicular line. I love that as well. There's a lot of little details that they've done that really propel this above some of the other golf balls on the market I've tested, especially some of the 2-piece. I also love those 7-iron numbers. You know, those 7-iron numbers weren't record-breaking, but they were pretty close. And same thing with the 5 hybrid. Not record-breaking, but pretty close. So, you know, across the board, you know, you might have an 8 out of 10 on the 9 iron, and then, you know, your 9 out of 10, your 9 out of 10, and then I would call it another like 8 out of 10 with the driver, maybe a 7, close somewhere in there. You have a really great performance across the board. It's one of the best golf balls I've tested for the swing speed. I don't know what else to say. It's really, really good. So who's the golf ball for? I would say it's for a lot of people. One, it's a great winter ball. If you want a winter ball and you swing 90, 95 and above and you want a winter ball, I can't think of a better value. I really can't. As far as playing during the summer, you know, if you're a mid-swinger, if you're a 90 and 85 to 93, we'll just say somewhere in that range, and you're looking for a really consistent two-piece golf ball that has, I mean, has everything. It checks every box. This would be a great one as well. There's definitely a market for it. So love to see that. Guys, as always, keep watching, keep saving, keep learning. Until next time.